review down, so. All right, we'll start with the pledge. I pledge allegiance
Yes,
to the
to
flag
the flag
of the
of
United
the United
States of America and to the
to the
republic
republic
which it
for which it
stands,
stands,
one nation,
nation,
under God,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible,
with liberty and
liberty,
justice for
justice
all.
for all.
Item 4, opening remarks. Does the town manager or the superintendent have any opening remarks?
Nothing for me, John.
Thank you.
I think Derek disappeared.
Yeah, I thought I saw him. Well,
He's back.
yeah, he's connecting. Derek, are you with us?
I am. I'm driving Uber. That's Daddy Uber. So I'm dropping off at soccer, and I'm going to go pick up another one. So I apologize. I'm en route. But just stay in the course with. We had our weekly meeting today. A lot of good progress happening. We did get some furniture samples, so thank you for that. We were able to take a peek at that stuff the last couple of days, and it's a lot of the stuff that we're talking about right now in these meetings. It seems like we're getting down to kind of the nitty-gritty of what this project's all about, which is exciting. So I just want to thank everybody again for all your help. And Melissa's been great, Mike and everybody. And John, Tacky, keeping us all alive. So I think we're in good shape right now. And,
Derek, we're losing you. We're going to move on.
what's that?
We're losing you. You're breaking up, so we're going to move on.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Okay, item 5, approval of previous meeting minutes from December 13th, 2021.
Motion to approve the minutes from December 13th, 2021.
I'll second it. Pat,
Any discussion? All right, we'll do the roll.
John,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Lil,
Yes.
Patrick,
yes.
Harsh,
Yes.
Mark,
Yes.
Michael Loesch.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved.
Thank you. Item 6, OPM update. And I think the operative word tonight's going to be order the furniture, but maybe I stole Alyssa's thunder.
All right, great. So I'll just go through the update. All right, the project's on schedule with no lost time accidents. I think we're at 238 days right now.
Sorry about this. Hold on. There we go.
Great, thanks. We've started drywall and painting in building A. AVB and brick is ongoing. We have provisions on the outside of the building to keep the masonry at a good temperature. We've been taking the temperature every day and recording it as well. Window and curtain wall installation is ongoing. We actually have window testing later next week. We'll have a short pre-op going into that with the window sub and also the commissioning agent. And then, as you guys know, last meeting, we voted to do window testing under Intertech. So we work with them a lot. So that's next week. As far as rough, we're continuing plumbing, electrical rough, and then continuing overhead work such as HVAC ductwork and mechanical piping, and also insulation. The gas line was installed last month, so that's all set. And then we're just continuing with those safety walkthroughs. I did want to give a little update on furniture and then just IT and other equipment. So I've been meeting with Michael Shantz, the Bridgewater IT manager. We're on track to continue meeting with a lot of the companies for the phone service, the fiber service inside the building. So we're going to be setting up an additional meeting with them. We had a kickoff meeting like a month or two ago. So just getting those quotes wrapped up. And then for the furniture, we've been meeting consistently for the past couple months. I know Gene touched upon it in his memo. And I'll just reiterate what we spoke about. We met with WB Mason. They were able to present the furniture to us to meet our spec. We now have samples actually testing for the teachers and staff at the current Mitchell School. And we had really good feedback from our team who's worked with WB Mason on other projects. I personally have worked with them and with the project manager that we're working with, Tim Grant. He's local out of Plymouth. So he's the person that would come to the site, inspect all the furniture, coordinate all the deliveries. And if anything is, not built to quality or something gets damaged in the move, he will be the person to make note of it and make sure that everything we have is sparkling new. I know one of our biggest concerns was that we weren't going to be getting new furniture in time. And if we're continuing with WB Mason, they guarantee that anything that's critical to the learning of the student, whether it be a desk or a chair, a teacher's desk, a cafeteria table, anything that's, I guess, not so much as decorative, but anything that's critical to the learning, they will put new temporary furniture in the building until our ordered furniture comes in. And so this means that if we proceed with them, they will not be moving any old furniture into a new building, which I know was our biggest concern. So I just wanted to thank RDA and OSO for helping us coordinate this, and hopefully we can move forward smoothly and cut loose all of those purchase orders. As of now, they are saying they can get everything on schedule for middle June, early July, which is around our substantial completion. Basically, once we finalize the purchase orders and everything that's going to be ordered, the quantities, the colors, they will store it at no charge in their storage facilities. They have warehouses in Massachusetts. So we just want to cut everything loose. That way it's being fabricated, ordered, and delivered as soon as it's ready. So they're willing to hold it for us. And all of this, of course, will go in the, the legal language and the paperwork when we release them. So we're definitely moving in that direction. And we've been really, trying to find creative solutions to get, new furniture in the new school. So really excited about working with them, and we'll continue updating the group with what's going on there. You can move to the next slide. So just a little bit of a progress update of how things are looking on the exterior. So this is where the main entrance will be. And then to the right, you see the brick veneer. The curtain wall 4 is going in. And this is on the right, how the cafeteria is looking right now with the ductwork and a lot of light there. So I spoke about the masonry. We have it heated, so we're keeping it at a constant temperature. That way we can work and everything can cure. And then we began drywalling on the second floor after inspections. We're even painting in some areas in building A only. And we'll be going for inspections also on the first floor too. So yep, we're priming and painting on some areas of level A, second level of A, and then just continuing drywall in other areas, getting ready to prime and paint. So I actually will update this PowerPoint with the schedule. The nice thing about having this meeting on a Tuesday is I did get a new look ahead schedule. So I'll actually go through that. Catalano is actually not on site anymore. They've completed most of their work and will likely be returning in the spring. They had some drainage that they needed to complete by the road. We're waiting for Verizon to remove a pole there. We've had constant communication with them and really pushing for them to remove the pole. But since we're not utilizing their service in the building, it's kind of not made them too excited to come out on their first priority. So Bacon is continuing the winter protection and the cleanup and safety on the site. Systems contracting the electrician. They're continuing rough and wiring at the gym, cafeteria, and kitchen. So that work is ongoing. We're continuing electrical rough at parts B and C on the first and second floors. The east side will be inspected this week, as well as the west side. And then NB Kenny, the plumber, is continuing rough at the overhead at part A of ground floor, and then the in-wall rough, including the kitchen work. And then Stanley Roofing, they'll be back this week to flash in the curbs on the roof. And then they'll be working on the low roof at the admin area at building B. General Mechanical, that's our HVAC sub. They're continuing duct work and the control valves at the boiler rooms. The pumps are set. And they're continuing HVAC controls rough. And then they'll be installing radiant ceiling panels at the second floor of A. Sprinkler work continues at building A. Commercial masonry, they're continuing the brick veneer at the east elevation. And ceiling grid is supposed to also start later this week, either Thursday or early next week. As far as colony drywall, we're just continuing taping at the second floor, as well as the first floor. We're going to finish boarding and go for inspections at the ground floor, so we can continue work there. Full and waterproofing, they're continuing AVB at the admin area, the skylight areas, and then the caulking at the windows and the door frames. Avon Ironworks, they're miscellaneous metals. They're installing stair 2, along with the operable partition supports and the ship's ladders. Chandler continues to install windows, and then translucent skylights are next week. And then as well, this week, they're continuing the curtain wall number 4 as it heats up a little bit this week. New Generation is our painter. They're continuing painting the priming and first coat of the second floor at area A, and then they'll head into priming the hallways and the corridors. Bass Associates, they'll continue fiber cement siding this week as the temperatures rise. And Singer Ashland is working on the walk-in refrigeration lines and installing hoods on Thursday. So that's about it for the 3-week look ahead for this month. Pretty soon we're going to start seeing tile being installed. We had a pre-installation meeting today for interior finishes. So talking about logistics of installing tile, carpet, various flooring, ceiling tile, and we'll start to see that millwork coming too. So we're really getting into the finishes now. There's still a lot of exposed overhead work. So as we start to get that stuff inspected, we'll start running the grid and installing ceiling tiles. So that's pretty much what's going on site. You can go to the next slide. So we had our next meeting as February 7th, because the following 2 Mondays were Valentine's Day and I think it was President's Day. So I think we're still sticking with that. And then the following one would be March 14th. And then this is a little bit of our budget update. we can proudly say that at this 50% mark, we've used only 1% of our contingency, 10% of our contingency rather, which is actually less than 1% of our total construction cost. So we're in really good shape with our budget and especially our testing budget. You can see we've spent 91,000. So we have very minor testing coming up for small pads, and then eventually the asphalt testing and stuff like that. So we're moving right along with a lot of that, those services for them. But the budget is looking really good. We're up to date with our propays. With the new year, we currently have 25 and 26 under review. So we're in good shape there. And I think that was it, right? All right, thank you.
I had a question, actually on your presentation, the dates.
Mhm.
We have substantial completion, but since we've rounded the corner, right?
Mhm.
We're into 2022, the next school year is approaching. Would it be worthwhile to put a milestone, whatever the date is, that is like the turnover to the school
occupancy
district,
date?
or the time that the school can plan where they can start moving their equipment in or doing whatever they have to do? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I agree with you. I think within the next week or two, we're going to sit down with Bacon Construction and do a full schedule review. So we did one at the 25% level, and that was really successful to see where they're at and have a conversation if they need to recover any time or work Saturdays, for instance, or work 10-hour days, whatever may be, to keep on schedule. So I think that in a week or two, definitely by the next SBC meeting, we'll have had the meeting. Just sitting down, talking with them of where they're going to be and how everything's laying out. We haven't seen a ton of long lead time items that would potentially push out the date. But anything like that that's coming up, we're working through it. So I think that by the next SPC meeting, we can definitely add the milestone of when we think certificate of occupancy will be. And that would mean that you're able to come into the building as you would have ownership of it.
Okay, and would you ever consider putting the date that school starts? Just 'cause
Yeah.
that's the game.
Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. I agree. Yeah, we can do that.
Important one.
I had one other item, but I didn't know if anybody had any questions on the presentation before I got into that. Okay, so the furniture topic. I'm obviously not in the meetings and, in all the work that's being done for selecting the furniture and making those decisions, but I'm not sure if Jean is going to present on this, but it sounds to me like in order to get those POs in play, we have to come to conclusion that there is an approval, right, on the furniture selection. And then maybe you can go into more about the procurement, because I know we're talking WB Mason, and you mentioned features and things that they offer that definitely are valuable to the project, but I don't know if there's other vendors that, are still in play, maybe between CHA and RDA. You can just, touch on that tonight.
Yeah, I can answer some of that. I don't know if you had something, Jean.
Oh, I was just gonna say that the staff, so WB Mason has delivered, their proposed furnishings. And I know Angela O'Brien, our furniture and interiors consultant, wanted to go down and put eyeballs on them. And I'm going to be honest, I didn't talk to her today, so I don't know when she's planning to do that. But assuming the staff's happy with it, and assuming Angela, feels that the pieces of furniture are
rugged, I guess I'll say, as well as aesthetically pleasing. From what Angela and I heard with WB Mason, they really seemed focused on making this happen for you guys and probably all their clients. But, I guess it sounds like they sourced most of their stuff from, if not Mass, then, the USA. And they were very confident about being able to take delivery and keep it in a warehouse. And being able to deliver to the site. I think Alyssa touched on it, but if they don't have a particular item or two, they made a point that they would provide and come and install kind of equivalent materials, desks, cafeteria tables, whatever, for the opening of school. And then when the permanent stuff came in, they'd come and switch it out, all at no cost. So they made a very strong presentation. Again, assuming Angela Bryan likes what she sees, assuming the staff likes it, Angela would then solicit a formal quote, right, from WB Mason. And if there's any other things, she might get a quote from Robert Lord, or she might get a quote through this MSBA program, if there's certain pieces of furniture that she thinks is a better value for you, as long as the lead times show up. And then she would write purchase orders. So John, I'm going to say, I honestly don't know. From the time she asked for a quote, I imagine she'll have it within a week. And then she usually takes about a week to turn around a purchase order. Alyssa, remind me, I didn't get the sense from WB Mason that they needed the order today, right?
Yeah,
I mean, they
because
were
we
pretty-
talked about that too. If we wanted to forego testing the furniture under the recommendation of, it meets the specifications and it's stuff that they're ordering all over the district. And they said we did have time to test it. So that's why we went ahead and had the test furniture delivered, and now it's being staged at the school. So I think that it would be good to have a drop dead date from them, I think, to determine, if we order past this date, you can't guarantee our middle of June date, which is what I've been carrying. I've been telling them middle of June because I would rather have them store it than it be late.
Right.
So we're trying to get it here earlier if possible. And that way we can rest at night that it's going to be available to move in. So I'll get that drop dead date from them. What they'll guarantee for us to have our delivery by the time we're asking.
The nice thing was, that they have their own big warehouse in Worcester or wherever. And, there's no cost, to the project for receiving stuff early and having it in storage. It's just part of what they're offering as their service.
So Gene, I'm not trying to derail anything that's already in the works, but let me rephrase what I'm asking.
Sure.
Is there anything that I'm going to say the team, it's probably not the committee, it's everybody doing the work right now, right? Trying to get this process through. But is there a hard date that everybody should understand where a decision has to be made, whether that decision is, the administration making a selection or a determination as to when to issue the PO so that we don't have to invoke that option B? Because
Right.
that's what I'm hearing, right? We won't have to worry about that.
Correct.
And somebody like a WB Mason under those terms, I don't know if others would have that ability. We just don't have to worry about it anymore.
Correct.
So I'm just looking for that date, and maybe everybody's informed that it's just because I'm not in the loop, because I'm not participating on those meetings. Maybe it's just not obvious to me.
No, it's that's what Alyssa was just saying. She's going to track down the WB Mason rep. And actually, when we met with them, again, they felt so confident about being able to receive the supplies or the pieces of furniture that really, I don't even know that we talked about a drop dead date. They said,
Right.
they didn't, I don't know if they said the exact words, you got plenty of time, but that was kind of the sense of the meeting. So sounds like Alyssa's gonna reach out to the rep and say, all right, so is there a drop dead date?
Right.
And you could probably send that out as an email to the group, right? When you find it.
100%. Yep.
John,
Yes,
this is Derek. Can you hear me?
Yes.
we can.
Yeah, I'm with you, John, in terms of that, because even though we feel like we don't really necessarily have to concern ourselves with it as much as we thought we had to initially, I would really like that date as well, Alyssa, just so that we can get all of that taken care of. That's one more box we can check, so I hear John's sense of urgency there to try to get that information so we can kind of get that ball rolling. Because the last thing we want to be doing is, be running out of time and have to take maybe furniture from the old building and put it into the new. So any timeline you can get for us, Alyssa, would be great.
Absolutely.
John, if I could, it's Mike.
Sure.
Alyssa, is this gonna require any kind of vote from us? The only reason I ask is if that drop dead date is before potentially our next meeting or in between a meeting and we haven't made a decision. I just want to make sure we all have on our radar that we potentially might have to have a special meeting if a vote is required. That's the only reason I ask.
Right. Yeah, it's not any money we're spending above and beyond the
Okay.
project budget. So I don't believe it needs to be voted on because we do have a cap for the MSBA of how much we can spend per student. So my guess is if it were to exceed that amount, which it shouldn't, because it's all state bid list pricing that they're using across the district, and that's what got approved in the budget. So I don't see it going over that amount unless we're asking them for multiple additional items that would be above and beyond our scope. Then we would go after maybe a change order or something if we were going to spend above the cap for the student. And I think it
Okay.
was around 1,700 per student for both equipment and furniture. So that's like a unit price per student. So that's what we're looking to spend, and it shouldn't go over that based on what we're doing here. But if it were, then we would, like you're saying, go for a vote on spending any extra money.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
No problem.
All right, that answered my question. So back to, I guess, the designer update.
Right. So things are going really well. John, we issued all the furnishings, the finishes, another F, the finishes stuff to the contractor, many weeks ago, based on the presentations we made to you. John Bartecki just had a meeting today on site with all the representatives from all the finished trades, tile, paint, ceilings, all the various things. And there's, to our knowledge, nothing that's got a lead time issue or supply chain disaster. So that's a great thing, right? Everything we've kind of all agreed on. A lot of it, John was telling me, was going to be on site sometime in February, like actually cartons of stuff, on the site. They are right on schedule. They're, you saw from Alyssa's photographs that they're drywalling and starting to paint and all these great things. I saw soffits in the cafeteria. So everything's going very smoothly. The one thing that Steve and I are working on this week is we got some samples for the Terrazzo Flooring, right? We had, I don't know, eight different colors, that go into all these floor patterns. And we are glad we got the samples. You know, they made a mixture with all the stone and glass and the epoxy that they set it in that's all colored. And we're actually like, ooh, you know, those stones are a little bit big. Why don't we do something smaller? So we've directed them to use a mixture that's different than what we had in our spec, and it goes back to something we know that we did in another school. Looks very attractive. So that's the last piece of the finishes, and we're going to be giving them direction on, and then they'll be able to come in and get the terrazzo floors down. John, when are they starting those, in May, you said?
Yeah, around May sometime.
Yeah. Those are all in the corridors and the lobbies. So I think there aren't a lot of decisions left for, you know, the people on the design team. It's just kind of overseeing the installation at this point. We did spend, as I said in my memo, we spent the last week or 10 days kind of working with Alyssa. I really wanted to applaud her and give her credit for, you know, picking up on the people's, you know, sense that you really didn't want to futz around with Plan B on the furniture. So we hadn't done a lot of work with WB Mason, but she brought them to the table. And again, I just want to give her credit for that, because that sounds like it's going to be a great solution. And then the only other thing we have, which I had in my memo, we have kind of the monthly change order. I think I heard Alyssa say we're still under kind of 1% of the construction cost. And the construction cost was, as we all know, pretty low to begin with. So there was a millwork items in there, which is, you know, kind of all the built-ins. And when we get shop drawings showing, you know, every cabinet and every shelf that's going in the building, there's it's just part of the process. Unfortunately, we're like, oh yeah, we probably should have another shelf here, or we should, you know, do some sort of molding around the corner or something like that. So there was I'll say small, but, you know, like a $4,000 or something change order, because Steve and I just marked up shop drawings to make the place, you know, kind of sing when it's all said and done. There was another one that was larger, and unfortunately it's another steel one, but there are a number of rooms that have these folding partitions, and you know, both sides of the stage, and between the computer lab and the media center, and between the art room and the maker space. These are they're soundproof, and they're big kind of folding partitions that, you know, you twist them and you stack them up against the wall. So we owned most of this. Well, anyway, they need their own structural steel to hold up the upper track, because they hang so that they don't like, there aren't wheels on the floor, right? They're hanging, so you can just easily twist them and move them, push them. So we owned like steel to hang it, and that steel had braces, you know, that come down at an angle to make sure it doesn't wobble one way or another, but the braces didn't have anywhere to attach at the top, unfortunately. So we had to buy a series of beams, and there's 5 different places that happened. So, you know, I don't like presenting things like this, but because it was fairly big, it was $46,000, but, you know, it was about $9,000 at each one of these locations. And given prevailing wages and the work these people have to do and the price of materials, it's just, you know, it's a fair price. I think it started out a lot higher, like a lot of these other change orders, and, you know, John and CHA, you know, got it down to where it's a fair price. And then there was another one that's $3,600, I think. No, 27,000, I'm sorry. But there was a $3,600 credit last week or last meeting that you approved. So the net's about $24,000, and it involves kind of the biggest part was, those push buttons that you have sometimes at exterior doors where a handicapped person can push the button and the door opens automatically. For whatever reason, we weren't clear in our drawings, and there were 3 doors. There was the outside door and the inside door where you come into that little, what we call a man trap at the front vestibule. So someone pushes the button, they come in and they can only talk to the office, and if they're credentialed and everything and they want to go into the lobby, and the office unlocks the door, they can push another button and go into the lobby. And then there's one at the back of the lobby, between the lobby and going outside to the pre-K play area. So that was the majority of it, but there were other kind of electrical changes kind of throughout the building that were related to the kind of panic button system. If someone in the office hits a button, certain doors shut and lock, which is all just part of the security plan. So we just had a bunch of stuff that we weren't clear on with the hardware, and it really is all part of what has to happen. So we're recommending approval of that as well. Other than that, so I don't know, Alyssa probably will have that change order to present, but we're pretty happy to say that, the things on schedule. I don't know if anyone walked through last Saturday. There was supposed to be a walkthrough with the city council. I don't know if that happened or not. It didn't happen.
We had to cancel due to the weather.
But you walk through that place, and even when you're on the lower corridor, outside the cafeteria, the gym, you can just see the light coming down through the floors. It's really going to be quite nice, and you can start to see it now at the drywalls going up. So besides the bumps in the road we have where we have to do change orders every once in a while, everything's really going well. So that's our report.
Thank you, Gene. Any questions for?
I have a few,
Nancy?
Lisa. It's Lisa, if I
Yeah,
can.
Lisa.
I was looking at all the furniture there, and I really love the teacher chair was very comfortable. And I like the teacher desk. It was nice and big. The desk I have now, I think, is from like 1960, and the drawers don't all open. And the teacher table, that work table, was really nice. And I noticed that was adjustable, so we could put it down if we wanted kids working around it. So I thought that was a great feature. The horseshoe table, there was a lot of tables that were different shapes, but I think we all decided on just that horseshoe table that we have now. That was really nice.
Yep.
The extra adult chair, that was fine. The student chairs, I know we were kind of hoping we could get adjustable ones, but those were not adjustable. I don't know. I know there were different heights. So, maybe because we do have such varying heights of students, if they have chairs that we could, if we have a tall student, maybe we can put in a shorter chair. But there were no student desks in the lobby. We haven't seen those yet.
Oh, Listen, I haven't been out there. So do you happen to know if there are desks there?
I don't believe, I think it was just the tables that we have.
No, there's not a student desk. They claimed that was coming, and I thought they said, Alyssa, that they were going to be bringing a lunch table sample too as well.
Yes, I'll follow up with them, and I know Angela was going to come out this week, so I'll get another update.
We just wanted to see, if that's adjustable and put a few kids in the, different heights, actually put the kids in to see how that would work with that.
Yeah.
But that would be like the one piece that we would like to look at is the student desk, if we could.
I do know
also-
to the student
Sorry,
chair
Jim.
point. Oh, no, Dennis, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, Lisa, the chairs aren't adjustable, but as you said, there are different height chairs
Yeah.
throughout the school. So I think what I'll just write a quick note to Angela is just to make sure that if we can get uniform colors so that, you know, if you bring
Oh, yeah.
a different size chair and, you know, the person isn't sticking out like a sore thumb.
And are they outfitting 11 classrooms per grade when we have 10?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
They're also bringing another student chair sample because we thought the larger chair might be too big. So there'll be a middle of the road chair coming along as well.
Oh, good. Thanks, Dennis.
I'm emailing Angela as we speak.
I'm just happy to hear that the teachers like it. I hadn't heard anything, and usually when they're unhappy, I hear a lot of things, but Lisa has kind of confirmed that they're pretty happy with the choices that are there right now. So that's a positive.
Yeah, they were. They just keep asking, what are our rooms going to look like? What are, you know, like, and they keep asking about, are we still getting the 4-drawer file cabinet? That's the big question. We have a lot of stuff.
Okay, that's the most important thing, right?
Well, no, but if we get over there, there's only one file drawer in that desk. It only has 3 drawers in the
Right.
desk that's there. So
Okay.
I know even, you know, I'm one of the old teachers that has a lot of paperwork, but even the new teachers. And I just talk, you know, everybody has 2 4-drawer file cabinets right now. So, I mean, going down to 1 is going to be some weeding out, which probably needs to get done, but a 2-drawer is going to be difficult. Anyway.
All right. Well, I'm making sure Angela knows I'm reminding her about the 4-drawer and then that all the student chairs are kind of interchangeable.
And the only other question that I was talking to some of the teachers, that was about the rug that they were going to get. That
Yes.
everybody wanted like a meeting rug. And
Yeah.
some of the conversation was like this fall, we don't know what COVID's going to mean to our school coming up in the fall, whether we're going to be meeting or not. And they were also wondering, you know, what would be the maintenance for these rugs? Are these going to be vacuumed by the janitors at night? What happens if, you know, a student is ill, which happens? And, you know, are we going to have that rug gone and then what's going to replace it? It's kind of I don't know if that's more of a maintenance issue or what.
Yeah, sorry, Lisa, I don't mean to cut you off. It's
Go
Mike
ahead.
Dolan. Yeah, that would definitely be something beyond this committee.
Yeah.
Definitely have that conversation with Dennis. But I understand where you're coming from with the concerns about what it's going to look like if you can't have morning meeting. I get that, but I think for the maintenance piece, that's beyond, I would say, our scope as a committee and something that the district has to look at.
Yeah. It was just a
It will go
concern
through.
that's come up a few times with the teachers.
Yeah,
That's all.
so that would go through facilities, the facilities director along with the custodial staff,
Okay.
you know, for the building. They'll have that plan in place. For you know, there's going to be a lot of those type of conversations that we're going to have with when we do, you know, figure out who the custodial staff will be at that site, who the head custodian will be. And, you know, there's a lot of different logistical things. We'll have to walk the building and, you know, think about, you know, putting plans in place. And obviously Dennis will play a role in that as well. So we'll figure all of that, those pieces out. One question I did have, Jean or Alyssa, did we, for the teacher's desk, so I saw the teacher's desk last night, did we talk about the desktop computers? Are they going to be hardwired computers or are they going to be wireless? That's what we were talking about last night, only because some of the, you know, the teacher desks that where we have hardwired desktop computers kind of have like a hole in the middle or on the side of it so that the wires can kind of feed through, where that desk that I looked at least last night didn't have that capability. So I just didn't know if through the furnishings, I know, you know, technology comes under that. Did we decide on desktop computers for the teachers on their desks, and are they hardwired?
Yeah. I don't know. Well, First of all, I'm gonna ask Angela if we can get a wiring grommet, right? In the desktop.
Yeah.
I was going to say at some point, we have to get with your technology person because they're gonna want to do for the district, right? They're gonna need to buy stuff off the state bid list, all the video, interactive video screens in the classrooms and all the computers and, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So I did meet with Michael Shantz, the IT manager. We did already get a quote for the interactive touch view panels.
Mhm.
And I remember one of the other sets of computers we were going to get were Chromebooks. I didn't see anything about desktop computers.
Right. So I guess, so I'll get around to answering your question about that. I don't know if the district is going to supply the teachers with laptops that are wireless or laptops that the building is wired where a teacher computer with a wire can hook into the wall. And then there's a wire in the wall that goes up to the interactive screen, right?
Mhm.
But
Right.
I just don't know how the district wants to handle it, whether they're gonna hardwire things, have towers, have laptops, or be
Yeah,
wireless, you know?
as long as they have, we can have that talk with Michael Shantz just about, what device is going to be able to, again, to Gene's just point, hooked into that interactive, because he's looking at those big, like almost TV looking interactive whiteboards, right, Alyssa?
Yep. So we've already got the quote from TouchView, which is out of Brockton.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
we do
yeah.
have that. I actually did talk with him about setting up a weekly meeting just to talk about equipment, similar to how we did with furniture, just to stay on top of things.
It's a month.
So I can set that up and then we can talk about, those types of things as a group.
If you could include me on those.
Absolutely.
Alyssa, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But Alyssa, John's in the background here saying, we're doing interactive monitors, right? We're not doing touch screen or touch.
Yeah, it's just
whiteboard.
the brand is called TouchView. So
Okay,
it's not
monitor.
touch screen, it's just TouchView is the brand.
Okay.
But it's a monitor, not a whiteboard.
Yeah, it's an interactive panel is what it is. Yeah, so it's basically like a smart whiteboard.
It's like a flat screen TV that you can touch.
The terminology has me confused because we've set up for monitors. If there's whiteboards coming, that's a whole different thing, and we need to know about that. So
Yeah.
we're expecting a 75-inch LED monitor that mounts on a bracket.
Yeah.
That's not what's coming. I need to know because we are way down the road, and if I'm gonna fix it, I gotta fix it now. So
That's what's coming.
That's what's coming. Those are the ones when we went up to the school in Merrimack, they actually had them on kind of carts that they were mobilized.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And, but we're gonna mount them. Yeah, you're all set, John.
okay. So in terms of wiring, Derek, both sides of the classroom at the rear are hardwired for computer hookups.
Okay. So I would assume student computers or.
I mean, again, I don't know what your wireless is. I don't know what your wireless capabilities are, but at this point, we are intending to hardwire both sides of that classroom near the rear door.
Yeah.
And there are going to be wireless access points in every classroom. That's what.
Not by us. That's gonna be by
No,
technology.
it's by the owner. Exactly.
Right,
So
right.
I've been meeting with Michael Shantz about that. So there's a wireless access point in every classroom. Actually, we were just discussing last week whether the plans reflect it being above the ceiling. So he had a request to mount it directly to the ceiling grid. And I told him that was something that we should definitely talk about in one of these equipment meetings, because as it's the owner installing, it could have a cost. And since they haven't started wiring for that yet, we need to catch that now if that's something we want to do. So that's something that in a weekly meeting would be just focused on equipment. Is those are the types of things that we need to talk about.
Sure. I know he likes them exposed from
Exactly.
underneath the ceiling so that you can find them if you
Yep.
have to, replace them and, if they get damaged or whatever. So we had a concern at the high school where we were trying to put additional access points, but we couldn't find the original ones because they were in the ceiling. So I know that's something that he did talk about.
Only if you find one that isn't ugly.
Will do.
Speaking of ugly, I wanted to go back to Lisa's carpet scenario with the sick child. Just had a question. Would we ever consider buying spares, let's say, there's some spare carpet pieces under this procurement, just to have in storage, maybe 2 or 3 or whatever?
Yeah, you certainly could. I'm sure they're not a very high price item, John. I'd be surprised.
So they're not like a custom series or a color that matches the furniture and,
No, the
Okay.
color's gonna go with the furniture for sure, but there's such a wide variety of kind of ready-made carpets, for classrooms.
got it.
It's kind of an off-the-shelf item. So as everyone's speaking, I'm writing notes to Angela O'Brien, and I'll just say that we should purchase 4 or 5, additional carpets.
I just have one other, I know it's kind of out of the blue, but it has to do with the carpeting. In my classroom, I got from, I think it's Colonial Carpets. They're in Rhode Island. They make rugs, and I bought a bunch of samples from them. And that's what I was using. And during COVID times, it's great because the kids can sit under their desk. They can take a carpet, sit under their desk. If you're calling them for morning meeting, they all grab a carpet and sit on the floor. It's extremely flexible, and I've seen them in like teaching magazines, that they have these circles that they buy, carpeting circles that are made, and they're all fire retardant and everything that needs to be. And just a thought, and it's very flexible so that you where the desks are, you don't have to worry about it. The kids just pick up a carpet square and they can sit wherever they've used. I've used these for quite a few years, and it is an option. If somebody gets sick, you throw that one out. Or if it gets soiled with a snack, it's not a big deal. The janitors don't have to vacuum it every night. It's just a thought, I know, but anyway.
Well, is it the kind of thing where you could poll the teachers and see if they'd rather have, the big carpet up front or carpet squares?
I don't know, Dennis. I don't know. I think I'm the only one who does that, but I may not be, but I'm not in many rooms. It was just a thought during
If that's
COVID.
the request, then that's what we will do.
Thank you, Dennis.
Well, Dennis, I mean, we'll need to know at some point, right? So if we're doing squares or a big carpet. It's not part of the it's not part of the big purchase order we're gonna do, but we will need to do it at some point.
Okay, I'm on it, Gene.
All right, cool.
All right, any more discussion on the designer update? All right, next item is approval of Bacon payment requisition number 12, vote required.
Open that up. So as usual, this went back and forth with Bacon, RDA, and CHA. And the amount for this requisition number 12 is $2,454,867,000.
Almost exactly 50%.
27 versus 51. Yeah, it's more.
Does anyone want to make a motion?
Motion to approve Oh, this is Lil. Motion to approve Bacon payment number 12 in the amount of $2,454,867.
Thank you, Lil.
I'll second it. It's Mark.
All right, we'll take the roll.
John,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Lil,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Harsh. Harsh,
Harsh.
Yes, can you hear me? Yes.
yes, thank you. Mark,
Yes.
Michael Loesch,
Yes.
thank you. The motion was approved.
Thank you. Item 9, approval of Bacon change order number 9, vote required. So we did cover that. Alyssa went over that and Jean did. So if there is any discussion, now is the time to continue that.
Just a question. Where does
Sure.
this put us? Where does this put us with Doris? In terms of, money
The dollar amount or percentage?
percentage?
Alyssa, do you have that? I think you mentioned it was 10%.
It's less than 1%.
Oh,
Of the
if you're
construction
asking
value.
with this change order, if you are, you've spent 0.9% of the cost of the building so far.
And what? What is that?
Yeah. Can do this.
So we have plenty of.
We're having a hard time hearing you, Mark.
I'm sorry. So we have plenty of money going forward if we have more change orders?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, being 50% complete with 10% of the contingency used and having gotten through most of the site work and steel, we feel pretty good about the risk that's left versus that 90%.
Thank you.
What is that 90%, Alyssa? It's like between $3.5 and $4 million, right?
Yes. Yeah,
Wow.
I think it was 3.7 was our beginning contingency. I
Thank you.
closed the budget tab, but I can look quickly.
$3.4 left, right?
That's down below. It's the 3.7.
Yeah, it
The
was
original.
3.7.
All right. Any
Okay,
other questions?
This is, nope. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Lil. Why don't we take
Okay,
the vote?
Yep, motion
I
to
mean, I'm
approve
sorry, the
Bacon.
motion.
Bacon change order number 9 in the amount of $81,645.75.
I'll second that, Pat.
All right, why don't we take the roll?
John,
Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Lil,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Harsh. Harsh,
Sorry, the unmute button on this thing is very sticky. Yes.
thank you. Mark,
Yes.
Michael Loesch,
Yes.
thank you. The motion was approved.
Thank you. Item 10, report of the communication group.
Sorry, I too had trouble there with the mute button. We don't have any formal updates Just that with the move closer and closer to move-in day, we will continue to look at invitations and who's coming and who's invited and what we're doing for the opening celebration. The website continues to be updated on a monthly basis. So if you have folks that are looking for information, please send them there. That continues to be updated, as does the Facebook page. So please feel free to use those as resources, not only for yourself, but for those who may have questions. And that's it. Lil, did I miss anything? Okay.
All right, thank you. Item 11, next school committee meeting. School board, wow, that does say Mitchell Elementary School Board Committee meeting, yeah. Our next meeting, I think it was February 7th. Was the next meeting.
Yes.
All right. Item 12, new business. We have any, does anybody have any new business?
Jean and John, did you want to throw out the sketch with the infiltration detail by the neighbor's property?
Oh, John, can I pull it up from the server or do you have it?
I don't have it on the server. You don't have it, Alyssa? I thought you'd have it, sorry.
I didn't receive it. I know you did send it out to the
Yeah,
team, but
Am I still in your junk mail?
maybe.
Gotta be. I don't know how to get it onto this system.
I can distribute it with the PowerPoint, but I guess we can just talk about it quickly. Is that there were some concerns with the abutting neighbor's property. I believe it's Ron and Maria, right on the corner of the entrance.
Right.
And we were having the civil engineer, Sammy Oates, look at putting an infiltration, a French drain along the property line. And that will catch the water so that the runoff doesn't flood their yard. So there is a sketch developed by Sammy Oates on that. And I think we were looking to put it in front of you guys first to see if it's something that you would be interested in, and then having Bacon go through the process of pricing it out if it was something that we were interested in doing for the neighbors abutting property. Does that cover it, Jean, John?
Wait, now we're not.
Yeah, I mean, Mike Dolan has been with this and through our weekly meeting. The abutter, as you enter the property, the abutter on the left, we are slightly elevated above his property. And when it was all said and done, we would have had just a normal infiltration through the grass, and it wouldn't have been a problem. But we found recently with some of the heavy rains we've had that the ground is not absorbing the water and perking as well as we thought it might have. So there's been a small puddle developing right at the edge of his driveway on his property line for some time now. So we've been looking at this, and finally we just decided to have the engineer take a look at it and see if a simple French drain put there would take this excess runoff. He's come up with a detail. He's come up with a drawing. I just didn't want to have Bacon go through the exercise of pricing it if for some reason this committee was not interested in placating this neighbor. That's all. It's a when it's all said and done and all planted, it's going to be a very rare occurrence that there would ever have been any puddle there, but this is like a proactive thing to make sure that you never have a complaint from the neighbor when you're all said and done. So we'll get a price on it. We'll get it to you for the next meeting and make it all happen. But I didn't want to do that without checking with you people first.
John, I think it's a good idea, John.
Yeah.
So, John, are we looking for a vote to?
No.
Okay.
I just wanted to make sure you were aware of what we were doing and not surprise you next month and say, oh, by the way, we decided to placate a neighbor on your behalf and without telling you that was going to happen.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you weren't looking for us to vote to say, go ahead and price that out and stuff. That's all. That's why I was asking.
No, we'll get the price and it'll
Yep.
show up in one of our PCO meetings and then it'll be presented as a change order. And you can decide whether you want to proceed with it or not at that point based on the price. It shouldn't be a lot of money. It should be pretty simple, but it's more staying with the protocol than anything.
Yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah, I think that would be prudent to do. And then it's all on the town property, right? This improvement would be
Yes,
on
yes,
our
we would
property.
not cross the property line. But what we're trying to do is make sure that when we have a 3-inch rainstorm, like we've had a few of over the last couple months, that we don't flood his driveway with our water, so.
Okay, yeah, why don't we get that on the, put that in motion and get that on the agenda for next meeting.
Okay,
That
we'll
sounds
take care
good,
of
thank
it
you.
this week. Thank you.
Thanks, John.
Item 13, public comment. It's open to anybody, but I don't know if there was anybody from the public. Not seeing anybody here. All right, does anybody have anything before we look for a motion to adjourn? All right, well, I want to thank everybody. Things are, they're in sight, so it's a good
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
The new year.
You're gonna love it when you walk through. It's really shaping up.
Gene, do you blur your screen out or something? Or is something wrong with my computer? It's like John is like a ghost. He comes in and out.
Well, John is a ghost. You didn't know that, did you?
I don't know,
Yeah,
it looks normal to
there's
me, Pat. Only
No,
two.
that's why I'm asking if there's something wrong with my computer, because I don't know if
Yeah,
It's a feature.
there's a setting. I don't know if we're on Zoom or Teams or whatever, but there's a setting where you can blur out the background.
oh, it's pretty cool.
So
Good to know. I didn't know. I said I just see John's head once in a while. That's it. So
he comes out of the fog.
Yeah.
There he is. So, yeah, you don't want to see what's in the background. That's the problem. We're pretty messy here.
I have a good architect, right?
Yeah, you should. Oh, well, I don't know where to find one.
All right, well, if nobody has anything else, I guess we could take a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn. Motion to adjourn.
Cliff, second.
Thank you. All right, I'll go first. Yes.
Michael,
Yes.
Lil,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes.
Harsh,
Yes.
Michael Loesch.
Yes.
Thank you. The motion was approved. The meeting is adjourned.
Thank you,
Night,
everybody.
everyone.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.